Time now for Big Justice, and a mother and father are trying to seek justice for their young daughter's suicide. Fox News has been following the story of a 13-year-old who hanged herself in her closet after she was seduced and then rejected by a fictitious 16-year-old boy online. The distraught teen died without ever knowing that the boy who she thought rejected her was really a family down the street playing a twisted and cruel hoax on her.
And now her distraught parents are trying to get the family to pay, stepping up their efforts today to get lawmakers to pay attention to their case. Big Story correspondent Douglas Kennedy spoke to the little girl, Megan's mother, today. He's with us now. Douglas?
Yeah, John and Heather. Tina Meier says she tried to keep her daughter off the internet because she says you never know who you're talking to and what their motives are. Now she fears even if you do know, there may be nothing you can do about it. When their daughter died, Ron and Tina Meier turned to everyone they could think of for justice.
We went to the local authorities, the St. Charles County Police Department, the prosecutor, the FBI got involved.
But it's been a year since their 13-year-old hung herself, and no one has taken action. Tina Meier says she's now considering a civil suit.
What would be the basis of the civil suit?
Obviously, for all the damages that had been done to our family, to our daughter, to every single thing that had been done.
The Meyers say Megan was the victim of a cruel online hoax perpetrated by the parents of Megan's former friend, a neighbor who lives just up the street in Darden Prairie, Missouri.
She got this email from this boy named Josh Evans.
In fact, in the month before she died, Megan had been involved in an intense online romance with Josh Evans. Only Evans was a fiction, made up by the neighbors who, according to a police report, wanted revenge on Megan for talking trash about their daughter at school. Megan's mother says 20 minutes before Megan killed herself, the neighbors once again pretended to be Josh, this time sending Megan into a suicidal spiral.
Megan gets an email or a message on her MySpace from Josh saying that I don't know if I want to be friends with you any longer because I hear you're not nice to your friends.
She did do what she did, but she had help to push her to do that, which is indescribable to me.
The problem for the Meyers is that laws regarding online harassment are few and far between. Tina says she's hoping a new law regarding internet stalking may help them.
Annoying people anonymously over the internet is now a federal crime.
In 2006, President Bush signed the Violence Against Women Act of 2005. According to a section of the act, anyone who uses the internet anonymously with intent to annoy, abuse, threaten, or harass another person can be tried for violating the federal telecommunications law and faces fines or jail.
And this is something that we're hoping that will be able to be placed against the people because it was put into effect prior to my daughter taking her own life.
Meier says she has forwarded a copy of the law to a local prosecutor. She says she also plans to forward it to the FBI by tomorrow morning. She says if no one thinks the law applies to her case, John and Heather, she is going to work to change that law.
Hey, Douglas, the parents who did this said a word?
They have said nothing, except to the police, who they admitted that they were trying to, harass her.
And they say their reason for doing this, and we'll bring in Joe in just a second, but their reason for doing this was, A, to find out what their daughter, what this girl was writing about.
They have a 13-year-old daughter, and they were friends at one point.
But they also really wanted to mess with her. They really wanted to hurt this little girl.
This is the classic overprotective 2007 parents who just go way too far.
No, there's no disputing that injustice was done to this beautiful little girl, but did the family who bullied her online actually commit a crime? Maybe not in the eyes of the law, but as Douglas just said, her family may try to get the laws changed.
People bully and prank each other all the time, but should they be held legally responsible if their prank pushes someone to suicide? What about when the victim is a child and the victimizer is an adult, like in this case? Douglas is going to stay with us, but let's bring in our legal guest, criminal defense attorney Joe Tacopina. Okay, so the perpetrator here is the adult. What recourse do the parents of this young deceased girl have?
You know, putting pressure on prosecutors certainly is one raising the public awareness of things like this. I mean, this is vile. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The parents who did this are not the classic protective. I have 5 kids. That you couldn't catch me in a million years thinking about spending time to torture another kid. I pick up the phone, maybe speak to the parent. But this is vile. What they did here. But on the other hand, does it rise to the level of criminality? Is there even an actionable civil claim? Probably not, because there is something that us lawyers get bogged down with called causation.
Before you go to causation, I mean, this online fraud leads to a suicide. Why shouldn't people look at it as a murder?
Well, if it leads to a suicide. I mean, again, I can't say, you can't ask me that question and say, before we go to causation, let's ask the question. Well, that is causation. I mean,
Douglas,
how do you know it leads to the murder? I mean, this girl was, don't forget, she had bouts of depression prior to any of this going on. She had attention deficit disorder, weight problems that apparently caused her to be depressed.
You're a lawyer, you're a parent. Let's just say this happened to you. What would you be doing?
Oh, everything that these parents are doing, probably more. Going out there, seeking every ounce of justice I could get.
You know, she's not going to have very much luck with the local sheriff's office. No. He says there's no law that applies to it. Where she may have some luck is with the feds. I spoke with the U.S. attorney in Washington State who says she prosecuted a case very similar to this in 2003, where an ex-boyfriend was harassing his ex-girlfriend and sending false emails to her work and so on and so forth. And he went to jail.
What stuns me is that the law enforcement doesn't know about this, and she's got to bring in the feds. Anyway, guys, we'll stay on this. Thanks.